Hello, welcome to Irish Football Fan TV. We are here with the reaction to the Irish women's national team's World Cup group. We have the opponents, we have the dates. We have Australia in Sydney on the 20th of July, we have Canada in Perth on the 26th of July, and we have Nigeria in Brisbane on July 31st. I have Gary Spain with me, and yeah, I suppose, Gary, last time I saw you, we were watching Ireland qualify for the World Cup. So, your reaction to the draw, I suppose it's tough, but what are your thoughts?
Well, it's definitely tough. It's probably one of the toughest draws we could have got, but it's also amazing. It's fantastic. We're playing Australia, the hosts, on the opening day of the tournament in Sydney. I can absolutely guarantee you, a sold out stadium with tickets being really, really tough to get. What a game that's going to be. And then next up, it doesn't get any easier. In fact, it possibly gets tougher because we've got the Olympic champions in Canada. And we've got to cross, I don't know how many time zones it is between Sydney and Perth. I think it's about 3. We're crisscrossing the country. And then even part 4, Nigeria were probably the best team in part 4, definitely the best team in Africa. So all the way back over to Brisbane to play them. So it's really, really tough, but also some fantastic games and some huge games. And it's a fantastic tournament to look forward to.
I think, we've been underdogs throughout, majority of games we're playing. Like, I know towards the end we were favourites, but not against Scotland and not against Austria. People were not thinking that we were going to come out of that game strongly. We were massive underdogs in. If you were to look at the two teams that we were facing, we weren't supposed to get through them. Obviously, Scotland beating Austria and then us beating Scotland in their own backyard, which, when you kind of look back at it now, it was a huge victory. The fact that we went to Hampden and beat them on their own home turf. I mean, we've beaten Australia. Vera's kind of gone on about trying to play teams above to try and kind of get us back in a kind of a situation where we're not fearing playing bigger, better teams or superior teams to us, if you want to use that term. So I think, look, regardless of what happens here, I think the squad will evolve over the course of between now and obviously the World Cup itself. I think some new players will come in there. Some younger players might start getting the nod ahead of some senior players. So it is going to be interesting, and I do think we're actually going to be better come the time of the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, if you think back, it's just over a year since we did beat the Matildas in Tala. Now, that was a major shock, and we'd gone into that game on the back of 7 defeats. But Vera had explained exactly what she was doing, and she got the backing from everybody because we were playing superior opponents. And frankly, I think most of us expected the Matildas to be the 8th consecutive defeat. But what a performance to beat. And that wasn't a weak Australia side. I mean, they had the likes of Sam Kerr, Mary Fowler, etc. in the team. So yeah, I'm sure we'll go into the game. We're getting better. We've improved certainly as the campaign went on. As you mentioned, we were big underdogs against Finland, home and away. We were big underdogs going to Gothenburg and got a draw with Sweden. But Australia in their own backyard is going to be a very different prospect than they were in Tala. But yeah, look, we are improving and we're very difficult to beat, and nobody's going to want to face us either. So it is, look, they're absolutely fantastic games. That's why you want to qualify for a World Cup, because you want to play in these type of games. So I'm sure Vera and the squad are just probably going to be so excited and really looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, actually, like, I was living over in Canada for 2 years between 2015 and 2017. I'm not sure the year the World Cup was on there, but the buzz, I think it was 2015, but the buzz in and around Canada around them was unbelievable. I just kind of thinking, I think Gavin Cooney had tweeted it, like the thoughts of playing the co-hosts on the opening day and what a feeling that would be. And the amount of Irish people that are living over that side of the world that I'm sure will get across to see the girls in green. And look, we've said it before about this team. They're such a likable team. They're such a team that you get behind. They're very working class in kind of how they play and stuff like that. Like, they're a team that you could definitely get behind with a sprinkle of quality with the likes of Katie and Denise, but very workmanlike in terms of how they play, the robust, the absorb teams, and then when we need a moment like Amber Barrett did to put teams away. I know, look, in the men's side of things, and the team like that with Trapattoni, it was kind of looked upon as this isn't how we want to play football. But look, I think as long as the team's getting results at the moment and playing to the team's strengths, then I don't think too many can complain. But I suppose just to take you to the opening day, how excited are you?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait. It's going to be some occasion. As you said, it's a squad that Vera has everybody bought in the squad. Everybody knows their role. They are all playing for the team. You mentioned Amber Barrett. She I don't think she started a game in the campaign, having been a pretty much a regular starter before that. And then she comes on and really makes the impact. And there's no huffs, there's nobody kicking up a fuss or anything like that. It's a very much united squad. They're so well managed. And yeah, it's going to be some occasion in Sydney on July 20th. And I'm just disappointed it's in the smaller stadium. I mean, they're using a huge stadium in Sydney as well for this tournament, but we get to play the hosts in the smaller one.
Yeah, just even the thoughts, like since the channel started up in 2017, like there's been no real major things to celebrate. Like the men's team haven't been doing great. We obviously I think the furthest we came there was that playoff against Denmark, and then it was the one against Slovakia as well in COVID, which was horrendous. So this now to actually have a World Cup to look forward to is so exciting. I think just even looking around and the excitement. I was at the Shamrock Rovers game last night, and we bumped into a couple of people that we met in Glasgow last week at the games, and even the excitement, just saying, not even a year to go, the World Cup, and obviously he had his daughters with him, and like they're going to a games. It just seems to be a kind of buzz around Irish football at this moment in time, and obviously with the way the women are playing, and then you look at even. It's so great to have someone there like Katie McCabe, who is flying the flag for Irish players and showing Irish players that you can go and you can compete over in the Women's Super League, and then she's going and playing Leon in the Champions League and beating them 5-1, and she plays a crucial part in that team as well. So I think it's key to have someone like that who's kind of like a marquee player who, when you're going like touch wood, nothing happens to her, and she's wrapped in cotton wool around that time, because we will need her. But like to have someone like her going in, it makes such a huge difference. I mean, even if you compare it to the men's team, there's no real superstars on the men's team, whereas you've got Katie, you've got Denise, but you also have leaders like Louise. You have Anya in there. I'm sure she's great for the squad as well, and she's been around a long time. She's seen the kind of the bad times, and now obviously the good times as well. So there's a really good mixture in there. But the fact is that we actually have, superstar quality, and I think that will hopefully shine through. And who knows who might pop up between now and the summer as well in Vera's squad, or maybe even at the tournament itself and makes himself a hero.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, as you said, we're going to need all our star players, our best players available for the tournament. We've quite a few players to come back from injury as well. I actually think competition is going to be really hot to get into the 23-person squad for the tournament, because it's if you look at the players that played against Scotland, that played through the campaign, some of the younger players coming through, they'll have developed a lot in the next few months. So it'll be very, very interesting to see who Vera picks. And we've got a few friendlies in the meantime as well. None of them announced yet, but for players to play their way into the squad as well.
Yeah, well, I look at players like, I know Ellen Malloy was injured, Ruisha Little John was injured. There was a good few out. Megan Connolly as well is obviously a huge part of that squad as well, and our set pieces are really key to the way we play. But then I look at someone like Niamh Farrelly, who's gone to Parma from Glasgow City. I think she could be in contention. I haven't seen her play a game yet other than friendlies. But like Diane Caldwell's not getting any younger, so maybe Niamh Farrelly or someone like that might come in there. You'll have players like Chloe Mustaki and stuff like that, and then Megan Campbell's getting in there, Heather, because she's back from injury and stuff like that. So there is plenty of competition in and around there, and as you say, it will be interesting. You know, even up front, like you've got Heather Payne, who puts in such a shift. Maybe not the best goal scorer, but she works so hard for the team. And then you've got Amber Barrett, who maybe doesn't work as hard, but she'll score you the goal to win you the game to get you into the World Cup. So I think it's good to have a different set of players that if you do need to mix things up, then you're not just going always like for like. So I think of the couple of players I mentioned there, and you know, you probably have a couple that I haven't mentioned that you'll probably mention now in a sec anyway, that still have to come in there as well. So I think we're in good shape. Hopefully we're in better shape come June with the squad and stuff like that, because we know even with World Cups and we've seen previously like injuries in and around them time, and you're sweating for players to get back and stuff like that. You just don't want that. You just don't need that worry. But in terms of how we are now and how we are looking from now anyway, it's looking good so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Leanne Kieran has been a big loss as well, and her pace could be a threat. Hopefully, Jess Zhu gets back in time. That might be touch and go. Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be huge competition there for places in the squad, and who knows? I mean, you have the likes of Abby Larkin possibly could come through, Jess Stapleton. I mean, there's young players out there who'll be dreaming of going to this tournament, and there's still time. There's lots of time for players to make an impact. And I'm sure Vera's going to be watching players all over the world. And who knows, I'm sure we'll have a few players looking up their roots and discovering an Irish granny for the chance to play in Sydney on the opening day of the World Cup.
I hope that's not the case where it's just they're coming along just to play a World Cup, and because it does kind of take away from other players who've worked so hard. But look, I understand that you do need the best quality available as well. But I suppose that's just the Irish in me, I suppose. I'm not saying that anyone who has an Irish granny isn't Irish. I'm just saying if they haven't declared by yet or figured out that they want to play for Ireland, I think it's a real shame that they're only just coming out because we're in a World Cup is more so what I mean. But like, I actually was speaking to Shauna Cook the other day. She used to play with Shelburne, and she was the Invoke ambassador at the game between Waterford and Shells last week, and she was just saying she thinks Jess Zhu might be a stretch too far for her, but players like Jess Stapleton and as you said, Abby Larkin could be players that do actually come in there. And who knows? Look, we've spoken about World Cups, and it's usually such a huge stage for players to really announce themselves. You know, so what better stage than for a young Irish girl to kind of come on the scene, maybe like an Ellen Malloy or whoever to come on the scene and get a goal that's crucial, you know. We've had so many, well, not so many, but we've had good World Cup moments in the past. You know, you think of Robbie Keane against Germany, you think of, you know, you'd remember the games in Italia 90 and obviously Euro 88 as well, where Ray Houghton and stuff like that. So we haven't had that real Irish. Well, maybe Amber Barrett, you could say that was a real moment where you look back and go, that was a breakthrough moment. But now, when we get to that World Cup, it'll be interesting to see, you know, if we do well, who is the star? It could well be Katie McKay, but if it's not, and it is a chance for someone to come in there. Even players like Saoirse Noonan, who's on the fringes there and who's done well over the last year and stuff like that, could be a chance for her to kind of shine and stuff like that, because she's getting better every time I see her.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure anybody, even in the under 17 or under 19 squads, will be looking and dreaming and saying, if I have a real standout year or standout few months, I suppose at this stage it's not even a year away, that they can force their way into Vera's thoughts, because I'm sure she's going to be looking as well. And look, who knows? I mean, it's absolutely fantastic to be there. I mean, Amber Barrett's goal has kickstarted this, but it has been a work in progress for a number of years. And look, it's just fantastic to be going to a World Cup, a first major finals for our women's side. And the eyes of the world are going to be on Sydney on July 20th next year.
I know, it's just brilliant to actually hear Ireland and World Cup in the same sentence. Yeah, I'm buzzing this morning, you know. When I saw the draw and stuff like that, I was just like, right, here we go. It's real, you know, it's starting to feel real. But yeah, I suppose we'll leave it at that. I'm sure we'll have a lot of coverage between now and I know you spoke with Amber Barrett Vera this morning, so we'll obviously have that going out as well at some point. So yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll have more stuff coming up soon. Speak to you soon.
Cheers.